Hi YouTube. So today I'm going to be talking about Pluto in retrograde, and a really big factor of getting through these transformations and realizations that Pluto in retrograde may bring to the surface for us. So Pluto entered retrograde at 23 degrees on April 24th of 2019 in the sign of Capricorn, and is going to be going direct on October 2nd or 3rd, I believe. I keep hearing both, but I think it's the 3rd. Maybe it's the 2nd. I don't know. But it's going to be going direct at 20 degrees in Capricorn on October 2nd or 3rd. I know, not great credibility when I say that, right? Whatever. It's authentic. It's honest. I don't like to lie. So don't credit me on that. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, so Pluto in retrograde is actually going to bring up a lot of repressed subconscious desires, thoughts, feelings, fears, and just toxic behaviors that we need to change. I know a lot of people freak out when Pluto goes into retrograde and they start getting all scared, but they don't really understand it. And that's okay. It is going to bring pain, and it is going to bring a lot of revelations, and it's going to bring the nitty gritty to the surface, and it may be hard for us to deal with that. Now, a really big factor into dealing with transformations and changes is to implement a lot of self-love and self-affirmations. So that's what this video is about, because we all know what Pluto retrograde does. It brings things to the surface. It causes us to deeply self-probe. It's all about illuminating the dark side, illuminating things that we're scared to see and scared to face, and changes and toxic behaviors and toxic people that we need to let go of. But a really big factor into doing that and releasing all of those things comes from loving yourself, respecting yourself, and acknowledging the fact that you deserve better. When you start to do these things, when you start to implement these kind of practices and stuff that I'm going to share with you, it's going to help you to realize that you do deserve more, and it's going to help you to release those negative patterns. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't respect yourself and you don't find self-worth and you don't value life or value your life, then it's going to be hard for you to realize that there's more to life, there's more for you to accomplish, and that you're worth so much more and there's so much power within you. It's hard to let go and move on with your life when you aren't secure with yourself. So that's what this video is going to do. It's going to help you, and I'm going to give you some guidance on things that you should say to yourself, and a mindset that you should change. Because before you can change your external world, the factors in your life that influence your external world, whether that's your job, your friends and your partners and all those people around you, before you can change that and realize what you need in those relationships and stuff like that, you need to realize your self-worth and what you truly deserve. That's it. This is a time when Pluto's in retrograde for you to realize that the ultimate power is held within yourself, and that now you just need to unlock it. And how you do this is by changing the lens that you view yourself in. So changing the paradigm that you view yourself, not necessarily the external world, but the internal world, your internal world. Everyone's different. Everyone views life differently, and everyone has different beliefs and a different view of themselves and how they feel as if they should be treated. Now, who you get into relationship with, and who your friends are, and who you surround yourself with, and what job you have is a deep internal. It's a reflection of how you value yourself and how you view yourself. If you're in a toxic relationship, that just means that you have lower self-esteem. That doesn't mean that you're always going to have lower self-esteem, and that doesn't mean that you're not beautiful, or that you're not powerful, or that you're not handsome. It just means that you haven't realized that you are a powerful being, and that you are a being that should be respected and cared for and well treated. And that's okay. Because although this time can bring a lot of changes and a lot of things that are going to be removed from our lives, or things that need to be changed, and that can bring you a lot of pain, it's a time for you to realize that you have the ultimate power to change it and to better your life. The traumatic experiences that happen in our life, I say that with quotation marks because it's all about mind over matter. You get to choose what hurts you, and you get to choose what brings you pain in this life. So it's all mind over matter. And that's why traumatic may not be actually traumatic, but it's just the the importance that you're placing on that. You know what I mean? And what energy you're putting into whatever events going on in your life or whoever's in your life. So the more importance you place on a person or a thing that you're doing that to yourself, is the more difficulty you may have a more difficult time you may have letting go of that thing, whatever it may be. It can be material, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, it can be another person. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you need to let go of, whatever it is that you need to reinvent in this life, is going to come to light at this time. Anything hidden under the surface is going to be revealed, and it's important that you don't get scared of that. Sometimes when we face our internal demons, or we realize things about ourselves, we can actually get very scared of it, and we can self-loathe. And it's important to feel the pain, feel the emotions, feel that negativity. Remember how that makes you feel. Don't just sweep it under the rug, because it's going to be brought up again. If you don't face your demons or whatever hidden and subconscious feelings that you have, if you hide those and you bury those, Pluto's going to come right up, and it's going to show them, and it's going to keep showing them to you until you deal with it. I want you to think of Pluto retrograde as a time for you to fix and to change and to level up in your spirituality or your consciousness. Here, you're going to be revisiting things that are holding you back. Things that are holding you back from achieving your purpose, things that are holding you back from loving yourself and from loving others. Love is a very high vibration. It's one of the highest vibrations. I think it is the highest vibration. So things that are holding you back from expressing that and emitting that vibration out are going to be shown to you right now in this period that you have with Pluto retrograde. So Pluto's a very powerful planet. It's a planet that rules death, rebirth, transformation. It rules addictions, hidden things, mysterious things, secrets. It's all of that beautiful, nice stuff that everybody that's into astrology loves to talk about. But you guys know that, so I'm not going to focus too much on it. So Pluto is all of these kind of, not necessarily dark, but just more the shadow side of ourselves, is what I like to say. So when that shadow side is revealed, we have a tendency to self-loathe or to overthink or to overanalyze so much and we use that overanalyzation and we turn it into anxiety, and then that might cause us to hate ourselves and stuff like that and just really get down in the dumps. And that pain is inevitable. You are going to feel it. And why you shouldn't be scared of it is because now you have the power, instead of overanalyzing and just getting in a rut, it's time to overanalyze, look back, look at what needs to be fixed. But don't just say, oh, this needs to be fixed. I don't like this about myself. All of this stuff. Don't just say it and don't just think about it. It's time to put some action into it. But don't be too forceful. Don't be too controlling. Don't go at things too hard right now. It's just a time to reevaluate and to reassess. And yes, some things are going to leave us. Some people are going to leave us. And you can either be the one to be like, all right, this person isn't healthy for me. It's time for me to go. You can be the one to do that, and that can be very painful for someone to go through, extremely painful for someone to go through. But if you don't do it, Pluto's going to do it, because this is all about releasing the fear of the unknown. And what the unknown means is just your life after you get rid of whatever's holding you back. Sometimes we think that we need a person, or we think that we need this job, or we think that we need this house, or whatever it may be. We think that we need these things. But in reality, they may be holding us back. And we fear to let go of them because we fear of what's after that. And why it's important to implement those self-love rituals and practices is because you will gain confidence in yourself to leave those things behind to start a new path. It's all about releasing the fear and taking that leap of faith. When you take the leap of faith, you will find that you will move on from things quicker, you will deal with the things, and by the time Pluto goes direct, you would have already pulled out the roots that need to be taken out. You would have already planted your seed, your new goals, your new desires, your new paradigm that you see the world in and that you see yourself in. And by the time Pluto goes direct, that seed will be able to blossom. That seed can finally come through, and your new life will start to transform. You know what I mean? It's about leaving your old self behind and leaving your old habits and self-destructive behaviors. And self-destructive behaviors doesn't necessarily mean your drugs or alcohol. It means the food and the chemicals that you put in your body. It means the products that you're using. It's all about elimination in this time. So it's time to eliminate the bad stuff. And before you can start self-love, it's very important to start with your diet and start with your healthcare routine. So if you're using toxic products, it's a good time to eliminate those, and it's also a good time to eliminate extremely healthy foods. But don't just go at this full force. Little by little, baby steps. Reassess, reevaluate, think about what needs to be fixed in your diet or your beauty routine and stuff like that. So now if you don't go with the flow and release what needs to be released in your life, Pluto's going to do it for you, and it's going to push you off the cliff. So you can either jump off the cliff with full trust in the universe, with full trust in yourself, with full confidence, and land right on your feet, or you can hold on to those fears, you can hold on to that negativity, and by time Pluto... Dude, I lost my voice for a second. Okay. And then if you hold on to all that stuff, Pluto's going to push you off. Pluto's very powerful. It's a very forceful energy, and when it's time to weed things out, if you're not doing it and if you're not the one with the control, then something else is gonna come and knock it off, and people are gonna be taken from your life, and you're not gonna be the one that has the control over that. So let's get started on these rituals. So it's very important to love yourself, and everybody says that. It's important to love yourself. Love yourself. You know what I mean? You can't love anyone before you love yourself. And although that's true, loving yourself is really hard. So hard. It's nearly kind of impossible sometimes, because you know yourself better than anyone. So you know the good, the bad, the dirty, the ugly. You see yourself in the mirror. You point out your flaws to yourself all the time, and you tell yourself, oh, I don't love this about myself. I don't like this. I hate this. I'm insecure about this. And it's just it's hard. It's hard to look at yourself and look at the things you don't love about yourself and be like, oh, I love you. I love myself. And it just feels like you're living a lie. And all of that sucks. Sometimes it's hard to just change your mindset. People are always like, oh, be positive and love yourself and just work out and eat better and take care of yourself and buy essential oils, and maybe that'll do the trick. It's not going to do the trick. That's the problem, is that it actually takes effort to do this. So loving yourself isn't easy. It takes everyday practice. So these are things that will help you help you go through Pluto retrograde. It will help you to embody your ultimate power and the ultimate energy that you have within yourself, to bring you into balance so that you can face your fears and face the unconscious desires and face the toxicity in your life head on strong with a lot of confidence in yourself. And it takes time, but the more that you do it, the more your subconscious gets ingrained different. You know what I mean? And a lot of your thoughts and your behaviors and your actions stem from your childhood. So I want you to really start meditating and reflecting, and I want you to look back into your past and into your childhood and think about how you were raised. I want you to think about your earliest memories, the good and the bad, all of that stuff, whether your family home was abusive, whether it was perfect, whether it was too perfect, whether there was hidden secrets in your family. I want you to think about all of those stuff. And I want you to think about the stuff that your parents did to you that you don't necessarily like, that really hurt you. Now I want you to think, are you emulating your parents' behavior? Are you projecting your unhealthy, the patterns of your unhealthy childhood? Are you reflecting that onto your adult life? Are you carrying the way that your parents treated you onto others if it wasn't healthy? Are you feeding yourself if your parents didn't feed you? Because food is love. I've said this before. Sometimes if you didn't grow up in a very homey environment or a very loving environment, sometimes there can be issues with food, because when the mother feeds you, it represents that food is love. I got that from The Quietest Revolution, and I think you guys should watch her and check out her tarot videos. So things with the childhood and what I was saying with food is love, it's important to feed yourself with really nutritious foods at this time and cut out the unhealthy stuff. Um, when you weren't like fed or mothered properly when you were growing up, that can cause you to have a lot of unhealthy eating patterns when you grow up, because you don't realize that food is love and love is nourishment, and love is important for the soul, and nourishment is important for the soul and the body, the physical body. So look into your eating habits. Maybe those things need to be changed. Look at the way that you were raised to kind of define your eating habits. Look at the way that your parents talked to you as a kid and how you talk to yourself. Because sometimes if our parents treated us and talked to us negatively and poorly and underestimated us, then we carry that out. And those are nothing but words. Those are nothing but just projections. When someone tells you that you're not smart enough, even if it's your parents, or that you're not beautiful enough, or they blame you for your sexuality or the way that you express yourself and all of this stuff, when your parents do that to you, then when you grow older and stuff, you're gonna start to talk that way and feel that way about yourself. So this is a good time to reflect back on that and realize that those are just words and they don't mean anything, and they were just projections of your parents' feelings of themselves onto you. I know it sounds kind of like wahoo mahu, but they're actually very important things that will affect the way that you treat yourself, and that will affect the way that you treat the others around you and the way that you view your potential. So look in that and reflect onto that and meditate on that and the things that you can fix. Now, if you had an unhealthy relationship with your siblings, it's always important to repair that at this time. Not necessarily like repair all the way, but do minor things to help repair it. Uh, so yeah, and whatever you accumulate of this time about your childhood, and whatever abuse and neglect you went through during your childhood, or whatever you felt you were mistreated in any way, it's time to wipe that clean. I want you to like write down everything that you hate about yourself, okay? And then, or everything that you were ingrained, or everything that you thought as a child. So if you've always thought that you were ugly from a child, I want you to write down, I think I'm ugly. And then I want you to take your eraser and I want you to scramble it out, and I want you to write, I think I'm beautiful. I think I'm beautiful. I think I'm beautiful. I think I'm beautiful. Because a really big thing here with the mind is that you train it. You have complete control over it. And now is the perfect time, with Pluto being the planet of control and dominance, to assert some control and dominance over your thought patterns and to change them, because now you have the ability to transform them. Pluto retrograde is going to have you looking at the roots of problems. If you just look at the problem for face value, you're not going to get very far. You're not going to ascend very far. You need to look at the root of the problem and fix the root of the problem. Okay? Because sometimes we start implementing these self-love rituals without realizing why we don't love ourselves in the first place. It's important to realize the things that you don't love about yourself and why those things and those thought patterns are occurring. So look at the root of the problem and look on ways how to fix the problem. When you understand the root of it, then you'll understand that it was really out of your control at the time, or that you'll understand the root and you'll be like, okay, that was the root of the problem. Now I understand that, and now that's not my life anymore. Now I can fix it. Now I can plant new seeds. It's all about pulling out the seeds and pulling out the roots and replanting a new seed so that it can flourish. And a lot of the times it has to deal with self, because your thoughts, the way that you view yourself and the way that you feel about yourself, is the way that you start to think. And the way that you start to think will control your feelings. And your feelings will not control, but kind of emit that energy that will attract whatever that energy is on. So if you're on a self-loathing vibe right now, you're only going to start to attract a lot of negative things in your life. And it's important now that you have the power to change it. All right. So how do I start this? So self-love rituals. After you found the root of your problems, after you wrote down everything that you don't love about yourself and replaced it with a positive affirmation, you wrote down the negative with what you've believed for your entire lifetime, and now you're going to write the positive affirmation over and over and over again. So that's the first ritual that I think can be very beneficial, especially if you like to write, or if you ever get that urge to write and you don't know what to write and you just write your name like a bunch of times. write some positive affirmations that will help to reprogram the coding of your brain. And that will actually help you to gain control over your feelings, and you will be able to control what upsets you and what doesn't, and what causes you pain and what doesn't. Now, a lot of the times when we look back into our childhood or look back into past relationships that really have affected our psyche, it can bring you a lot of pain and turmoil, and it can bring you a lot of hateful feelings, and like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I accept that? Like, I'm so mad at this person for treating me like that. It's also, you can't hold on to those feelings of anger. It's okay to feel the pain. You need to feel the pain to remember how that thing made you feel, how that person made you feel, how that job made you feel. So let the pain pass and let yourself really feel it, so that you understand that this is how it makes me feel. This isn't a good feeling. This isn't a good feeling, and I shouldn't be around it, and I shouldn't go back to it. So don't push your pain under the rug. Accept it, embrace it, and feel it. Write down your negative affirmations, erase them, write down your positive affirmations. The next one is when you're dealing with self-loathing of the body, of the physical appearance. Not necessarily just how you think about yourself, but how you perceive yourself physically, like when you look into a mirror. So if you're someone that struggles with body dysmorphia, or someone that really is insecure about your facial features, or your body or your facial features, or certain things about that. A good practice is Leora Alexandra. She wrote this thing about changing your appearance with the law of attraction. But I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the thing that she said about our bodies. So she was saying how like our bodies are a vessel for our souls in this lifetime, and they help us to experience the sensations of this physical world. So your eyesight, you can see, you can smell, you can taste, you can did I say feel? I don't know. You can hear. So our bodies help us to do all of these things. But it's important to remember that you didn't choose the way that you looked, and it's also out of your control, unless you get like surgery or stuff like that. But that comes from not loving yourself, you know? So our bodies do so much for us. Leora Alexandra, I just want to say it because I don't want to take credit for it. She's saying that our bodies do so much for us, and sometimes we treat it so poorly and we talk so negative to it. And it's like so true. Because especially being a girl, I see girls do this to themselves all the time. All they do is talk negatively about themselves, and whether it's for attention or whether it's they actually feel, it's so bad to talk about yourself like that, because your body is beautiful and it literally helps you to experience this lifetime. Whether you have all those sensations or not, you have a physical body and you have the chance to experience this world. And you can either grow up and live your life hating yourself and not accepting yourself, or you can learn that like this is a good way to start loving yourself is first accepting yourself. Before you start loving yourself, it's just like accept yourself. There's this thing from the Princess Diaries, and she looked at herself and she was like, well, this is as good as it's gonna get. And Hathaway said that in that movie, and I was like, that's so true, because you can try to do all of these things to make yourself beautiful or make yourself more attractive, but at the end of the day, like, it's as good as it gets, at least for that day. Like, you know what I mean? So first accept yourself, but like, you don't have to accept yourself in that way that's negative, like, oh, I'm always going to be ugly. No, don't attach any feeling to what you look like. Just be like, okay, this is what I look like whatever, like, who cares, bro? This is what I look like. It's not going to change unless like it has to deal with my weight and stuff like that. But like your physical characteristics, those are just things about yourself. And it's just better to like just be like, all right, whatever, this is what I look like. Fuck you if you don't like it, whatever. It's not my problem. You know what I mean? So first adapt that mindset where it's like, okay, this is my body, this is my face, this is my hands, these are my skin, this is my hair, whatever. This is me, okay, bro? This is me right now at this point in my life. All right? And once you kind of accepted that, every time that you're doing something regarding self-care, as simple as showering, when you're showering and you're focusing one area of the body, like let's say you're washing your arms, you take the soap and you're like, my arms are beautiful, my arms are strong, my arms help me to carry things, my arms help me to do this. Like really be like grateful that you have a body that can move and that can function and that can feel and that you can taste and see and hear. Like start acknowledging that your body is very, very strong and it's very beautiful and it's very intricate and it's detailed and it's so complex. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful. The human body is beautiful, and your body is beautiful. So start implementing that into your life. And like if you're doing your washing your legs, you for like a good minute you're just like, oh, my legs are strong, my legs are beautiful, my legs help me walk, my legs are perfect, even if they're not 100% the way that you want them to look like. Before you can change anything about yourself, which is what Pluto retrograde kind of brings to light, it's like changing areas of our life and all of that stuff and transforming ourselves, whatever. Before you can change anything, you have to first accept what you are now and love what you are now. And doing this, like acknowledging all the detailed beauty about your body, will help you to start loving yourself even more. So you're writing down your affirmations, you're breaking down old thought patterns, you're rebuilding new thought patterns, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about your physical appearance. It can be about if you were grown up thinking that you're dumb, you can just be like, write down I'm dumb, erase it, and be like, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart, I am intelligent, I'm smart, I know things, because you're not dumb. Okay? Nobody's really that dumb. Like, we all know something, you know? And if it's not about the way that you look, or if it's not about the way that you feel about yourself, maybe it's about the fact that you always think you hate waking up, or you're like, life is depressing. Life is depressing. Life is depressing. You wake up every day and you're just like, I'm not fucking doing this today, bro. Like, I don't want to do it. But you realize that's an everyday thing. I want you to start writing that down, erase it, and write life is beautiful. And then write down 3 things that you find in your daily life that is beautiful. Because during Pluto in retrograde, details are very important. Pluto is a very detailed planet. It notices things, it analyzes things, and it rips it apart, bro. It can be so introspective. And the details in our everyday life and our habits kind of form how we feel about our day, how we feel about our life, how we feel about our job, and how we feel about our people around us. So change little habits that are holding you back, whether that's waking up 10 minutes earlier, whether that's eating a healthier breakfast, whether that's not procrastinating. And a good way to start before you start actually taking action is to first encode it in your brain, and then you take action onto it. You do have to attach the feeling and like truly believe it, but before you can truly believe it, you kind of have to lie to yourself for a little bit until you just like get used to it. You know what I mean? Like as I was saying with the shower thing, so when you're showering, you're like, oh, my arms are beautiful, my legs are strong. If you're washing your hair, and you're just like, my hair is strong, my hair is long, my hair is shiny, my hair is beautiful. Start affirming these things about yourself. That start acknowledging the beauty of your body and the beauty of yourself. And when you're washing your face, even if you have any skin disease like acne or any freckles or sunspots that you don't like, or anything that you don't like that's on your skin, I want you to take your face wash, and I want you, when you're washing your face, be gentle. Don't like scrub so hard. Skin is gentle. Skin's like a very gentle organ, and sometimes we can beat ourselves up over how our skin looks, even though it protects the insides. You know what I mean? So we talk bad about our skin, and we hate our skin, and we hate the color it is, and we hate what's on our skin. But in reality, like, it's literally doing so much for us, and it's so helpful because it's protecting us. So start loving it. You know what I mean? So start being thankful that you have like skin that at least protects you. You know what I mean? Some people don't. Some people have skin that gets torn, like butterfly skin. Like, you know what I mean? There's people that have that disease. So just start acknowledging like that. And if you're someone that wears a lot of makeup and it's breaking you out, take a breath from the makeup. Stop wearing so much. It'll help your skin to breathe, and it'll help you to start seeing all the imperfections that are actually really beautiful and that make you unique. You know what I mean? So when you're washing your face, you're like, my skin's beautiful, my skin glows, my skin protects me, my skin's healthy, my skin's this. And even if you don't believe it, just keep saying it to yourself every time. We wash our face like, what, 2 to 3 times a day? If not, some people do it less, some people do it more, who knows? But like, imagine every time that you're looking to a mirror, or that you're grooming yourself, and you're just like, oh, I don't like this, oh, I don't like this, oh, I don't like this. Every time that you're doing that, instead of like saying something negative, say 3 things positive for every negative thing that you say. Now, when it comes to internally healing your wounds and stuff like that, this practice will help. And everyone knows it. It's meditation and writing on a journal. But you don't always have to write on a journal. Sometimes just talking to yourself out loud does more good than writing. Because I know for me, like if I'm trying to write in a diary, like I'm literally like I won't just like write whatever I'm thinking. Like it has to look a certain way. Only certain words will be said in the diary. Like you know what I mean? Because it's just like you're in control of what you write. But when you just talk to yourself, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're just having a conversation with yourself, you're not crazy, I promise you. You're actually gonna realize a lot in this time. Now, also a lot of the times the way that we view ourselves is caused by how other people treat us. And in this time, Pluto in retrograde is going to reveal to us a lot of toxic relationships and friendships. And maybe it also just has to reveal some issues in our relationships, even if they're healthy relationships and you're just going through a turmoil phase right now. Like, that's normal. Relationships go through tough times sometimes. But there's a difference between going through tough times and being in an abusive, destructive relationship that can actually cause you a lot more harm and that is actually just holding you back. A lot of us, especially if you're like an empath or you're more sensitive or whatever it may be, you can get into relationships with narcissists that can be very covert about their behaviors. Um, if you're with someone right now and it's constant arguing and it's constant diminishing, if you have to hold back what you feel because you know it's going to trigger them, you're not in a healthy relationship and it's actually holding you back because you we the like our society in general has kind of ingrained us to kind of keep our feelings to ourselves, like or how we feel about things, that we should just like suck it up and deal with it, or like keep our feelings about someone to ourselves, or keep the way that we're treated, how we feel about the way that we feel. What am I saying? It teaches us to just kind of hide our feelings, to cover our feelings. You know what I mean? So if you're in a relationship, but that's not healthy. It's good to be expressive. If you're expressing it in a positive way, like in a rational level minded way. When we repress our feelings, that's when they become irrational with anger and mad, like craziness and all of that stuff that can make expressing your feelings look bad. But expressing your feelings, especially in a relationship, are very important. And being able to express yourself freely and not being able to hide is very important. And you should do it with no shame. The problem is our society and our world, whatever it is, whatever you want to blame it on, has kind of ingrained us to hide those things. You know what I mean? And it tells us to suck it up and to grow up because everyone gets treated like that. But it's very important that you are being able to express yourself because you only have one life. I don't really want to get into the afterlife and what's after it and if you're rebirth or whatever it may be. But like if you're just looking at it logically, you only have one life. You know what I mean? Well, that's two. You only have one life. So it's important that you're surrounding yourself and enjoying your life to the fullest. And you're surrounding yourself with the people that help you to enjoy your life. We're going to come in contact with people that you're going to click with, and they're going to be really supportive friends. And you're going to come across partners that are really fun and amazing, and you just feel really free around them. But we always have to kind of go through those people before we get to the good people, Really pure, good souls don't come to us naturally. You have to align with those people. You have to be on the same frequency as those people that treat you right, that are respectful, that are inspirational, that can actually help you grow. You have to align with them. And in order to align with them, you have to cut out the bad people. The people that treat you like shit, the people that gaslight you. Gaslighting is basically a huge theme in a lot of toxic relationships where when you express yourself or express what you're feeling, that person, the toxic person, will make you feel as if you're crazy. If you're expressing yourself in a relationship and it feels as if you're talking to a wall or that person's making you feel crazy, it's maybe time to kind of like dip. Pluto in retrograde is kind of giving you that opportunity to like realize that you don't deserve that. Like you're worth so much more. And in order for you to realize that you're worth more than a toxic relationship is to realize and love yourself first. Because a lot of toxic relationships stem from insecurity and fear of letting that person go because they have manipulated you into thinking that they're the only person that will ever love you and that the toxic partners will make you feel as if you're the scum of the earth or whatever, or that you don't deserve better than them. And they do this on purpose to keep you in a trap, to keep you to themselves, to have this control over you, this Plutonian control that drives you crazy, that hurts you, you know what I mean? That diminishes you. So now, when you start to love yourself and implement those practices, you're going to be the one that gains the control over that person, and you can finally be the one that's like, no, I'm done. I am awesome, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, and I don't deserve you. Because if you don't do it, Pluto's going to be like, all right, this person isn't worth in your life, and if you're not going to leave them, I'm going to take them out of your life. I'm gonna bring someone else in their life, and they're gonna cheat on you or something like that. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna happen, but like, I'm just saying, like, that Plutonian energy is gonna take it for you. So you can either be the one that has the control and has that self resilience, and can be the one that's like, okay, it's my life. You don't deserve to be in it because you've treated me poorly, and it's time for me to move on with my life and find someone better. Because that will feel a lot better, and that will save you so much pain when you're in control of the situation, rather than Pluto coming in and taking that person out of your life. You know what I mean? And that's when the trauma and the pain comes in, when it's Pluto in retrograde. When you don't go with the flow of things, when Pluto has to take it out because you're not ready for it. You feel as if you weren't ready for that thing to leave, but in reality, you are. You are ready to leave it. It's just like you have to realize that self power that's within yourself. And now is that time. Now is that time to realize it. Now, if you're in relationships that are just going through some turmoil, now is a really good time. Everyone, for any relationship, especially if it's a heterosexual relationship, because the male and the female brain like function like completely differently. It's like completely differently. So you have to start understanding the feminine needs if you're a male and you're with a woman, and the woman needs to start understanding the masculine needs. It's time to analyze each other's behaviors. It's time to probe not only at yourself, but the person that you're with and the person that you love. And I only recommend doing this if you're in a healthy relationship that's just going through a hard time right now. Don't lie to yourself. If you're in a bad relationship and you know it's not healthy, get out of it. Lying to yourself is only going to bring you more pain. Okay? But if you're in a healthy relationship that's just going through some problems, it's important that you analyze each other's needs and wants. Sometimes when we're in relationships, we can be like really, really stubborn, and we don't want to see it the other person's way. But guess what? It's not going to work if you do it that way. You have to acknowledge your needs, express your needs calmly, rationally, all of that stuff, so that they can hear you and stuff. But once you've said what you need to say, sit back and listen to your partner. Because if you love someone, it's important to take their needs into consideration. So if you have a girlfriend that's bitching and moaning because you're not doing this, and that, listen to it. Listen to it. And do something about it. Like, you know what I mean? Don't react. Don't react. Just listen and change those behaviors. If that's the person that you want to be with and that's the person that you want to love, it's important that you do something and you listen to them so that you can, like, kind of get along better, you know what I mean? So that relationship can grow and be smooth. Because if you're in a relationship, you need to understand each other's needs and wants and what satisfies each other. Like, you know what I mean? And now if you have a boyfriend that's bitching and moaning about whatever he is, listen to him. And like, it's vice versa. You have to listen to him and you have to take his needs into consideration too. Don't just get on your high horse. Because I know a lot of feminists right now, this might step on somebody's toes, but sometimes it's not, okay, a lot of females are like equality for all, but it's not. They pass the equality thing and they go into the women are superior than men. You know what I mean? So if you're doing that and you're treating like your male partner really poorly, or like all of that stuff, even though it may just be like a misunderstanding and stuff, or you have a really self-righteous attitude, wipe that attitude, okay? Or wipe whatever it is, or that you deserve the world and your boyfriend or whatever should treat you and you should just be the princess. Because although he should do that, you should also be treating him you should be treating him properly as well. So it's like both ways. They volley. The feminine and the masculine energy, they work in relationships when they give and take. The feminine and the masculine, they're like yin and yang. You know what I mean? What the other one has, the other doesn't. Okay, what I mean? You know what I mean? So when you guys can like work together and provide each other's needs and fulfill them, then that relationship can like grow and and you guys can fulfill your purpose or establish a stable family and a stable home life, and you guys will be able to go through discussions and arguments more diplomatically and more rationally, and you'll learn to love, because love is kindness. Love isn't like hitting the fan and just like screaming at each other all the time. It's important to listen, because when you speak your feelings in a relationship, you've already said it. You're telling what you know, and you're telling what you feel. But when you sit back and you just listen, you're learning about the other person. And this is a great time to probe into relationships. Relationships can either break right now, they have the power to break apart, and they have the power to really deeply transform into something really beautiful and really soul connecting. So apologize when you're in an argument. Don't be stuck up. Don't be all this. I know I was talking about heterosexual couples, but that doesn't mean that homosexual couples can't implement this into their lives too. I was using the heterosexual couple as an example for the feminine and masculine energy, but that can also be applied in the homosexual relationship as well. Yeah, so just take that into consideration. So when it comes to your friends, a lot of times we have friends that are very toxic for us and that hold us back and that actually don't have goodwill towards us. So if you're going through transformations in your life right now and you want to start a new venture, or you want to start a new business, or you want to go this place in your life, or you want to study this, it's important to keep those goals and aspirations to yourself and to the people around you that you know, love, and support you. If you start telling everybody your goals right now, everybody's going through something, and if people don't know how to deal with that resentment that they feel towards whatever aspect in their life, they're actually going to project those hateful feelings onto you. So if they're not dealing with their internal karma very well right now, they're going to be projecting that negative energy onto you, and that's actually going to create a lot of blockages for what you want in your life, and that's going to hold you back. So Pluto retrograde is all about releasing what holds you back. So if you have friends that give you that kind of vibe that it's just like, ooh, like I can tell like you kind of hate me, or that you're not, you don't really support me, or that you don't wish the best for me, you don't necessarily have to cut them off completely. You don't have to start an argument with them, and you don't have to call them out on anything. Sometimes the best revenge is just moving on with your life and letting things be. Distance yourself, slowly distance yourself. You don't have to go cold turkey on someone. But it's important to get rid of those people that project their energy onto you, that actually kind of, what's it called? Restrict your manifestations from coming in. And they can also cause you to grow doubt in your thoughts. You know what I mean? Because they'll be like, oh, are you sure you can do that? Because, no. And that will cause you to doubt yourself. So keep your plans to yourself right now and to the people that you know, love, and trust you. And when you do expose your plans and your goals, this is going to actually help you to weed out the friends that are good and bad. But overall, I think that the true friends that you have will reveal themselves, and the fake ones will reveal themselves as well, and you won't have to tell them anything about yourself. Naturally, you'll start to weed that out. Now, when it comes to friends that are very emotionally draining to be around, those friends that tell you like all their problems and they just kind of like onto it, and they're just like really negative and really depressed with life, and they just constantly drain you down. These are friends that they can either be narcissists, like overt narcissists, where it's like pity me just for attention, but they can also be friends that are just going through stuff right now, and or just always go through stuff, and you're just that person that they unleash all of their pains and struggles onto them. So that doesn't necessarily make them a bad person, but be very analytical and pay attention to the details and the behaviors of friends that guilt you into feeling bad for them, and friends that just open up to you. If you'll find a good key indication for this is that the toxic friends that unleash all that emotional burden onto you, if you find that you can't really open up to them because they cut you off and stuff like that, or they'll just talk about their problems, but when you talk about yours, they don't seem to really give a fuck, that is a narcissist or a very self-absorbed person, and they don't really care about you. They just want your attention. They just want your pity. You know what I mean? But a friend that's actually going through a burden and stuff may be someone that's just very sensitive and going through life right now, and you'll find that they will listen to your problems, and that it will volley. You know what I mean? You'll be able to open up to them and tell them your burdens, and they'll be able to open up to you and tell them tell you their burdens. Sometimes I get tongue twisted. So yeah, take very good account of to the emotionally draining friends right now. Any Capricorns in your life right now may be going through it right now just because Pluto is in retrograde in their sign and a lot of internal work is being done with them. In my life, every Capricorn right now is acting really weird, and I didn't notice that until today. That's what caused me to make this video. It's just I was thinking about Pluto in retrograde. So yeah, I will be filming some videos on Pluto in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn and how that affects your ascendant sign, so pay attention to that. I hope this helped you. When you implement these self-love rituals, you will gain confidence in yourself to release the toxicity, and that usually comes from your friends and your partners. So implement the self-love, gain the confidence to face the unknown, to take that leap of faith, and to rid the toxicity of your life. And when that happens, you will be able to plant the new seeds, nourish the new seeds so that they can grow. And those seeds will come in the form of new people, of new opportunities that are very positive. The thing about Pluto in retrograde is that it will bring you pain and it will bring difficulties and it will bring all of these stuff. But maintaining a positive outlook is very important because you will gain success out of it. You will reap the benefits of releasing what's bad for you because you're always going to be you're upping you're increasing your vibration. You're leveling up on your conscious. And when you do that, you'll start to align with the universe more. And you'll start to attract the people in your life, attract the opportunities, and messages will appear of what you should do. If you're like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, I don't know what I want to do with my life, maybe there's too much clutter for stuff to come in. Get rid of a lot of material things in your life that aren't doing good. Like if you just have a junk drawer, start cleaning out your pictures of your phone. Start cleaning out things. It's time to get rid of things. It's time for elimination of the bad stuff so that you have room for the new stuff in your life, the new positive stuff that will come. I promise you. You just have to remain positive. You have to keep implementing self-love and self-confidence and radiate that. Every day that you wake up, you tell yourself, this is an example. You say your name. You're like, so I'll say, Allie, I love you. And the first time I started doing this, I didn't mean it at all. At all. I did not mean it. But just as time went by, I just kept doing it and kept saying it. And I just started pointing out everything that I love about myself, everything that I love about my day. Be grateful for the things in your life. And this will help you in Pluto when Pluto's in retrograde. It will help you to transform every aspect of your life. You have to realize and unlock the power within you before you have the power to unlock your external life. Anyways, I hope that helped. Sometimes I know I can be very repetitive. I'm really sorry. It's just really late right now. And I'll see you guys in my next video.